Next thing I would like to do here is to connect the cables to the motherboard, such as a USB 3.0 and audio cable and LED cables. First thing I would like to connect is a USB 3.0 that will go to this port, and the audio cable will go to this port. If I were to connect these cables like directly, it looks really ugly. So I will take these cables back to the case through this hole and then take them to the front. Next thing I would like to show you is how to connect the SATA cables between the motherboard and HDDs. For SATA cables, come with a motherboard, and I bought an extra one, so I have 5 SATA cables. Although I have only 2 HDDs, I will connect all of the SATA cables I have to the motherboard so that later I can install the HDDs really easily. Here, port 1 will not work because of the M2 SSD that I installed there. So I will connect the SATA cables from the port 2 to port 6. The total cable I would like to connect to the motherboards is 5. And port 3. And next one is port 4. Just push hard enough to hear the click sound. And now is port 5. And lastly, port 6. You will hear the click sound when you properly install the SATA cables. Next thing I would like to do is to connect the power cable for the HDDs. So as you can see here, one power cable can support 3 HDDs. First, I will connect the power cable to the power supply. I have connected 2 power cables to the power supply. The next thing I would like to do here to connect the mainboard power cable. So this part goes to the motherboard and this part goes to the power cable. So if I just connect directly, it looks ugly. So I will take it back to the case and take it to the front. So next thing is the CPU power supply. This part goes to here and that part goes to the power supply. This is the back side of the case. I only have 2 hard drivers, so that these 3 cables, I will just put them into this box. If I can afford like 3 more HDDs, I will show you how I connect the HDDs to these cables. I really hope that happens really soon, but I'm not very sure about that. So right now, just put these cables into the box. It also requires power supply, so put this power cable into the box so that later if I can buy HDDs, I can install them very easily. Alright, let's do the actual installation. So first thing you need to do is to take the SATA cable. As you can see here, there is an L shape, and on the HDD there is also L shape. So just put it to the HDD and push it hard enough to hear click sound. So there is a L shape, and just push hard enough and you can hear the click sound. And here I'm going to zip tie the cables. Next thing I would like to do is to connect the power cables to the HDDs. So as you can see here, there is a L shape. So also there is a L shape on the HDD so that you can easily connect the power cables to the HDDs by looking at the L shape. And I would like to zip tie the cables. Next thing I would like to do is to take the CPU power supply cable to the front through this hole. However, I do not want the power cable touch this part of the motherboard, so I will try to avoid that area. For the motherboard power supply cable, I will take it to the front through this hole. I have installed the CPU power cable to the motherboard here, and for the mainboard power cable, as you can see here, this part should go to here. So the orientation of the mainboard power cable is important, and push it hard enough to hear the click sound. I said I will take these cables back to the case. However, it is impossible because of the power supply. So I will just connect them directly here. And first thing I would like to connect is the audio cable. This one goes to the here. And if you look it closely, there is no hole here and there is no pin there. So you can find the right port easily. And next thing I would like to connect is a USB 3.0. And as you can see here, there is no hole and there is no pins. So that you can find a right port and right direction very easily.